Howdy from Texas. This is Scott with Houston Event Photography. Can't speak now. This is lesson 3 of how to set up Darkroom Core and Darkroom Pro. And in the last couple of videos, we talked about making a photo catalog, how to import pictures in or tether them in with your camera. We talked a little bit about showing borders and putting text on photos. I showed you how to archive your catalogs when you get done with the job. And now we're going to move into setup, and I'm going to show you some things that are very important to change. We'll start out, probably the number one question I get is in this camera operations, people will say, I'm going to show you kind of what I'm talking about. My computer's really slow today. When you got your thumbnails over here, I guess I archived them, so maybe they're not there now, but when you're capturing photos, I'm sorry, I'm not in the right place. Oh, I am in the right place. Now I got my thumbnails. You may have somebody helping you, assisting you in printing, and they're over here and they're adjusting this picture and trying to get it all ready to print. And you're still busy taking pictures, and you capture this picture here, and they go, man, I wasn't finished with that other picture. And they go back, and everything that they've changed on this is not saved. So it happens so quick, and it's very aggravating, and a lot of people don't know about this, how to turn this on and off. So that's what I wanted to show y'all in the setup is right here, this very last under camera operations. When you click camera operations, this screen will come up. This very last feature here says, do you want to replace the workshop picture with the new camera photo? If no, the new photo will show up in the film bar only. So you always want to have this on no. If you're have somebody else that's assisting you in printing. If you're printing yourself between each shoot, you could probably leave that on yes, because you're going to work on that photo and then print it before you shoot the next picture. But if you're working as a team, as I always do, this is always selected on no. All right. Another thing, and I've already got it selected here, but I'm going to go and change this. A new feature of Darkroom 9.3, they added this auto detect USB cameras, which is a great feature. So you don't have to go in anymore and say, okay, I got a Nikon D300, a D700, all these different cameras that you use. You don't have to go in there and select them, or make sure that you're, my guys all shoot Canons and I shoot Nikons, and I would have it set for Canon cameras and not Nikon cameras, and I'd have to go in there and change this. So this doing it automatically is a time saver. It's great. I'll show you something about it. All right. Say you're working by yourself and you're sitting at a table and you got people coming up. It's like a high volume job where you're just taking one picture after another, and you're not really posing them, just to kind of like a step and repeat. They step up there, you say, okay, I'm gonna take a picture from this background, step up and shoot it. So instead of me getting up and going over my camera and hitting the shutter every time, I can take a picture from right here. This little button up here at the top will say take picture, and if I click that, I don't know that it'll do anything because I don't have a camera hooked up, and it's not. But if my camera was hooked up, it would take a photo of them. I also use this sometimes when we're doing like Santa or Easter pictures, or an event where there's kids, and the photographer's already taken the picture that he's going to take, but something happens and he's not paying attention and I see it. I can click a quick picture here and maybe capture a special moment for someone. So that's a good feature to have. Now the point is a lot of times we do so many corporate events where we're shooting remotely and we're having photographers drop photos in from a location. We use a hot folder, and so if I have hot folder selected and we're using that feature, and I go back to that photo workshop, you'll notice now that that button is not there. I ran into this issue a few years ago, and I hadn't been using Darkroom as often as I used to, and I'm like, I know there was a button up there that said take photo. Where is that button at? And I asked on the forums, and I asked Darkroom support, and they were like, oh, it's there. You should see it. And I'm like, no, it's not there. And I'd even show them videos and say, see, it's not there. And they never really gave me an answer, and I never really could figure it out until one day I was in here and I turned off the hot folder and put it back into camera mode and went back, and there was my button that says take photo or take picture. So that's a little tip there. If that button ever disappears, that's where it's at, because you probably, if you're like me and you use a hot folder, it might be because you got hot folder camera selected. All right, so let's see if this is going to work. It didn't. I'm going to go back to camera operations and see I've got hot folder camera selected. This time you'll notice that probably a different screen will come up. This time a screen came up that shows where is your hot folder? Where's the picture's going to be when you use a hot folder? You go in there, and this is where you set that up. Mine are all set up to go to Dropbox, so that when one of my photographers out in the field shoots a picture, he's got Dropbox set up on his camera or on his phone or whatever device he's using to send it wirelessly, and it's pointing to whatever folder we're shooting into that day. We use this a lot for golf tournaments where we have a photographer that's taking a team photo, and when they come up and get their team photo taken, afterwards he'll upload it to this hot folder, and that way it'll show up on the computer in the clubhouse so that we can print it out. So that's how we use it. This is how you set it. I don't know if this is a bug. It's been this way for a long time. I'm gonna go back to camera operations again. But for some reason, you would think when you hit setup, it would go to this screen, because that's what you're wanting to do, is set up where those pictures are. And if nothing else, it takes you to that first screen. I don't remember what all was on that first screen, but here, let me see if I can turn this off and turn it back on, and maybe it'll work. We can see what it says. Nope, it went right where it was supposed to. If nothing else, I think that the first screen has some setup information, and then there should be a next and go to this screen so that you can continue setting up where you want your photos. This other little field down here is a backup, and it's important to set this up. I have it going into my pictures, and I have a folder called backup photos, and here's one that says golf, because this is what we were shooting. And that's where all these pictures will end up, because what happens when Darkroom imports the picture out of Dropbox from the hot folder, it deletes that picture that's on Dropbox. It's no longer there. So it's important that you have a copy of it somewhere that you can go back and reference to. So that's where my pictures are kept. They're always backed up there. So every picture that goes in the Dropbox, when it's imported into Darkroom, it also makes a backup copy here. Let's move on and see if there's anything else really major here that I need to show you. Of course, this is where in setup where you go in and you create packages and templates and things like that. So we'll get into that in the next video. Like I said, if you have any questions, just email me, or you can try calling me. I may not be able to answer the phone, but you can leave a message and I'll normally get back with you. But email is probably the best way to get me to answer questions, because I can do that when I'm on the computer and have time to make a little quick video. All right, appreciate you watching. Again, this is Scott with Houston Event Photography. We're a corporate event photography company based in Houston, Texas, that has been in business for over 4 decades. We appreciate you watching.